Welcome to the Gen Gap, where time-tested leadership meets the demands of a new generation. I'm Maureen Fitzgerald, your host, bringing candid conversations with industry heavyweights. Together, we unpack how they are rethinking talent, culture, and leadership in the face of generational transition, AI disruption, and the rise of personal brand dominance. Today's guest is a trailblazer at the intersection of private equity and innovation. Jan-Moritz Hohn is the founder and CEO of Leverest, the leading private markets technology platform revolutionizing how private equity investors, investment banks, and lenders manage financing workflows. Leverest simplifies private market transactions by streamlining every phase of the capital deal lifecycle. It connects firms to a curated network of top-tier lenders and unlocks data insights to drive faster, smarter transactions. Before founding Leverest, Jan specialized in mid-market buyouts and began his career in strategy consulting, building a strong foundation in investment and strategic analysis. It is a pleasure to welcome Jan to the show. Jan, thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah, hi Maureen. Happy to be here.
So I'd love to hear about your career journey and how you came to be founder and CEO of Leverest.
Yeah, happy to share some light. So before Leverest, I was working for a mid-market private equity firm in Europe, working on mid-market buyouts, 100 to 200 million enterprise value. And I was always involved in managing financing processes. And I was stumbled by how manual and inefficient the financing process works, and not only workflow inefficient, but also outcome inefficient in a way how companies were financed. And we saw that companies were lacking the best suited lending partners and the best suited financing structures. And at the same time, myself and the whole industry, we saw that the brightest minds of the financial industries spend hours and a large portion of their day in very manual, repetitive workflows. And that's something that we are changing with Leverest. And that's why I went out of PE to found Leverest and build a very efficient system to run these workflows.
So can you tell me a little bit more about that? What's sort of the system is solving for?
Yeah, very happy to. So in essence, it's three things. So one is market connection. It's a marketplace to connect to the entire universe of lending parties with more than 1,100 registered lending institutions, from small local banks to large cap unitranche lenders to credit opportunity funds. And for any financing opportunity, an AI-based matching algorithm connects to the best suited lenders. And then it's workflow tools to run these tedious processes as efficient as possible. We take away all these manual workflows so that investment bankers and investment professionals have more time for what really matters, to build relationships, to be out, meet people, to really spend time on analyzing the opportunities instead of doing these very manual repetitive tasks. So we take away these pain points. And then the third part is once a deal is closed, it's a portfolio management tool to keep track of covenants, of maturities, in essence, all requirements from a senior facility agreement.
Okay. Switching gears a little bit, what's the boldest leadership move you've made and how has it reshaped your team and culture?
That's a very, very good question. So I come from an industry, from an investment banking, private equity industry that is very, let's say, outcome and results focused, and not putting too much attention on the individual that's working within that industry. And when building Leverest, we as a team are a group of former people from the industry that live these pain points, but at the same time want to build a contrast in terms of culture that's really built on results, but also on acknowledging that there are individuals in the industry that really can drive impact. And I think the boldest leadership move was that we've built a culture that was not built on working hours you put in and FaceTime in the office, but a culture fully based on flexibility and trust and freedom that we give to each individual. And that only goes hand in hand with performance, with trusting that individual individual buys into the vision and ultimately delivers on the commonly aligned goals.
And so how do you engage and retain the younger employees in that environment?
We have offices in Berlin, in Frankfurt, in London, in New York. However, it's very decentral with tech and development hubs in Eastern Europe and in Latin America. In that sense, our team is truly global, and it's a challenge to stay close and connected with each other. How we solve for that is that we have like digital systems. We call it there is a tool called Gather, which is a virtual office where each of us, when working, is online and can connect to each other in a very smooth, similar manner. You just walk over, can talk to people, can share your screen. Of course, it's not the same as just walking over to a desk, but at least it comes close to the feeling of sitting together in an office and really building something together. And at the same time, we have from our tech team, we have a combined daily. That means every day we have an all hands meeting going through the most important aspects on the business side, as well as on the tech side. And then we have weekly update meetings and smaller team meetings. That's on the day-to-day operational basis. On a more global context, we also, and I truly believe that the personal interaction is extremely important to build trust over time. So we spend quite a lot of effort and also money on bringing together the team globally. And that means for our Christmas party, end of this year, we fly in the teams from Latin America, from the US, and have a global gathering. And we do that 2 times a year, one global offsite and one time around Christmas.
I know you mentioned to me at one point that you even rent a house and spend an extended amount of time. Is that one of those offsites?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was referring to. This year we did it in Turkey. So we rented a big house, and that's, of course it's fun to spend time together with the team, but these offsites are extremely busy as it's a full schedule of workshops on strategy sessions on certain topics that are relevant on the long-term product development pipeline. And we feel that spending time together on the one hand is really great for building trust and building a culture that works remotely. And at the same time, it's also a time of innovation where new ideas are fostered, where we think outside the box. And we really feel that these offsites are a very significant contributor to the innovation pace we're keeping with Leverest.
And so has there ever been a moment of generational tension that made you kind of rethink how you lead?
Yeah, definitely. Quite a bit because, as I mentioned initially, I come from that investment banking industry. I was having my professional career before the times of Corona. So there was no remote, there was no home office. There was 5 days office a week and sometimes the weekend. And yeah, when Corona happened, I think it was a general rethinking of how in high performance organization can work. And in that sense, giving this flexibility to the team and trusting them on delivering, and at the same time seeing them making use of that flexibility, freedom, and trust. I think that was a shift or leadership shift that was a big learning curve for me. And yeah, I'm thinking what just popped my head is another point. And in the very early days of Leverest, we as a leadership team, I think, took many decisions and afterwards discussed that with the team. And we shifted a bit away from that to a culture where we encourage people, employees, to bring in their ideas and openly share their perspectives and can candidly share any views. And I think the mindset that we do not need an answer to every question, but can solve certain challenges or certain certain questions we're surrounded with in team. That's a leadership shift we made over the past years.
Well, I would imagine, given your business, that great ideas could come from the younger generation because they tend to be digital natives. Is that what you found?
Yeah, I mean, the pace of innovation from a younger generation that I'd love to count myself, but I'm not counting myself in here anymore. We see there is huge, innovative pace, and that's driven especially when people are very passionate and very engaged about a product. And we see that, I mean, especially on the tech side, we have a team of highly talented techies that do not only love code and do amazing code, but they are really engaged with our product, really buy into the vision and understand what we are solving for in the industry and what's our vision and mission, and are totally passionate about providing our customers with superior solutions. And that's really great to see. And I strongly believe it's a key differentiator of how we operate, that the tech team is an integral part of the business and the customer solutions we do provide.
So you're touching upon how you are engaging and retaining the younger generation. So certainly the younger generation wants to have a purpose, wants to believe in the mission. Are there other things that you've added as you've evolved the company to engage the younger generation?
I mean, no one is really engaging in these conversations, and briefly touched upon this mission vision. It's not something where we just put a vision on our website and then it's there, but we've really developed that in team, and that's actually from the very first beginning when we were 5-10 employees sitting in a small room and brainstorming on product ideas and the long-term product vision where we want to be at in 10 years time. Even there, we were engaging all of our team members in a really active dialogue. And we felt that this is really, really motivating for many team members.
So I know you mentioned to me that you have a connection point around video games. I don't know if you want to talk about that. I love that story.
Sorry, around?
Around playing video games?
Yeah. No, thank you. That's we have, as part of our company culture and of our decentral culture, we have a call every Friday. It's called Coffee and Beer Session. On in the US and Latam, it's more the coffee. For the evening times here in Europe, it's rather a beer or non-alcoholic beer session. But we get together and have chats on how, like private chats on how it's going, our weekend plans, etc. And as part of that, especially our tech team loves putting on a game. And every week there's a game. Sometimes it's a shooter, which the techies love more than some others in the team. Sometimes it's a riddle where you solve for geographical riddles. You're put into a country and need to guess where you currently are based on Google Maps. And sometimes it's a word riddle. So we play games, and that's certainly a part of how tech teams operate, and we fully integrated that into our overall company culture.
So as you're thinking about the younger generation, a lot of companies are struggling with the fact that AI is eliminating a lot of the junior positions. And then, how do you train the younger generation to then move up to more senior roles if you've eliminated that layer? And so how have you been dealing with that?
Very good question. And very important to note that our software and our system is not eliminating the younger or the junior positions, but effectively providing a system to operate more efficiently and getting more done, leaving more time for what really matters. So we truly believe that every firm still needs junior positions, and in fact, our system is like the majority of users on the Leverest platform are also junior positions because they ultimately run these deals and no, ultimately need to solve for a number of things. However, our system takes away the very manual, tedious processes to leave them with more time on what really matters. For example, building relationships.
So switching gears, is there anything that you've had to unlearn that you thought was foundational to being a leader?
Yeah, great question. What, yeah, we truly had to unlearn, and I touched upon that previously, is the fact that as a leader, you do not always need to have the right answer pretty much right away, but you can be very open with like getting stuck somewhere, with asking the team, with being open and transparent that you might be struggling with a certain topic. And that was something I think we as a leadership team and me personally as a leader had to unlearn. That the answer doesn't need to be there right away, and that you can open up yourself and show vulnerability to the team, and that ultimately builds a lot of trust. And that's certainly something that we had to learn over the last years.
So a similar question, if you had to give yourself a piece of advice at the start of your career, what would it be?
Yeah, it's great to think back on what you might have could have done differently, or no, what would be a great advice. And as a great advice to a younger generation, I would always advise to optimize for learning curve. So to really look for an environment that gives you the biggest learning curve in terms of skill set, but also in terms of network. And that combined with the second really important part next to learning curve, and that is a field of passion. And I strongly believe that you will only be great and achieve great things once you're passionate about a certain field, a certain product, a certain topic you want to go after. And it can be anything. And that's ultimately also a question I asked myself before founding Leverest, what I really want to achieve in life and what I'm really passionate about.
So you touch upon network and training or giving employees skill set. How are you doing that for your employees?
Yeah, also there we have a weekly session that is a learning session where the team actually votes on a topic. And sometimes it's a business topic where we go through with the tech team through the basics of LBO financings, to the basics of M&A processes, but also sometimes the tech team provides a certain topic on coding, for example, coding ABC. So we really live that culture of sharing certain skill set and providing learning opportunities to the team. Now that's on a team basis. And then on an individual basis, we have personal development plans for each employee with a clear development roadmap on where this individual want to develop to and what's needed in their career progression. And as part of these development plans, we also incorporate for each employee a learning budget that can be spent on external courses, on any additional progress in terms of learning that we require central for that individual.
So I have to ask, I really love your logo. Can you tell me kind of what it represents?
Happy to, and love the question because we didn't get asked too often about it, but I actually designed it myself in the very, very early beginning. So it's never changed since the very first day when the idea of Leverest was born. And as the name also indicates, one part of the logo is the leverage. So you actually see the leverage. However, that's building up to a mountain, and that's reflecting the ambition of a very high goal we want to reach with Leverest. And at the same time, there's also incorporated a symbol of growth because the triangular that you see always triples. So actually, there are 3 triangulars that are tripling in size. So that's our symbol for continuous growth and the growth journey we're pursuing with Leverest.
I love that. So that leads us to our last question. What legacy would you like to leave as a leader in the industry?
As a leader in the industry, we first of all want to become the leading private markets platform that provided a huge change to the industry, making it run more efficiently and being foundational to the reshape of digitization that's undergoing the financial industry. And in addition to that, we want to leave a positive impact that we want to do that in a thriving, fun working culture where the individual counts and where each individual contributes to that aligned vision. And what we really want to leave behind and be remembered for is that long-term, such a thriving culture of trust and freedom will lead to superior results compared to a very traditional FaceTime culture. And that's hopefully a very positive impact that we'll long-term have on the industry.
That's great. Thank you so much for being here today, Jan.
No, thank you, Maureen. Enjoyed the conversation, and thank you very much.